In a darkened lab in Würzburg, Germany, a scientist leaned over a cathode ray tube. It was November 1895, and he didn't know it yet, but Wilhelm Röntgen had just changed the world. That first X-ray image captured more than bone. It revealed possibility, a way to see inside the human body without making a single incision. Every profession has a moment when it begins to define itself, to set standards, to take root, and to grow. For radiologic technologists, that moment was captured in an article titled "The Registry Comes of Age" by ARXT Executive Secretary Alfred B. Green, written in 1944. It spoke of founders, leaders, progress, of professionalism, of a field beginning to stand tall and on its own foundation. But back then, the path was still new. The number of registered technologists was small. The mission was big. And in those days, this was uncharted territory. A letter from the American Registry of Radiologic Technologists in the 1940s lists just a handful of registered technologists.
December 28, 1948. Dear Ida, I do not have any figures on the total number of technicians in the country, but I do have the number of registered technicians in good standing for each year, as follows. 1948, 5,837.
Fast forward to today, over 350,000 professionals strong. Radiologic technologists are at the core of patient care and medical imaging. We're not just button pushers. We are lifesavers, collaborators, and innovators. But numbers alone don't tell the story. Names do, faces do, legacies do. Sister Mary Frances Salacia, Anne Geiger, was born on November 23, 1897, in Köln-Ehrenfeld, Germany. She entered the novitiate of the Sisters of St. Francis on April 26, 1919. Sister came to the United States from Germany in 1921, became a registered nurse, and served in this capacity for many years. Sister also became a registered X-ray technologist and ministered in this capacity in several hospitals. Sister came to Lincoln, Nebraska from Grand Island in May 1954 and became director of the St. Elizabeth Hospital School of Radiologic Technology and remained in that position until 1965 when she stepped down. She remained on as physics instructor until her retirement from teaching in 1968. In the quiet corridors of a small hospital, one woman lit the way for generations to come. Sister Frances Salacia was more than a radiologic technologist. She was a pioneer, an educator, a collector of time itself, and somewhat of a comedian.
Sister Frances works with human beings as well as X-ray films, and the word compassion is a major one in her vocabulary. As a hobby, the nun can cite an enviable collection of X-ray equipment, including one of the first X-ray tubes used in the United States in about 1896. She's not telling where she collected that one. She's afraid they might want it back.
Her passion wasn't just in practice, it was in preserving our past. She saw beauty in the machines that others discarded. Each piece was a relic of the progress we now walk upon. In 1966, that passion carried her back across the ocean to Remscheid, Germany, her country of origin and the very birthplace of radiology. Röntgen's laboratory in Würzburg was the last place I visited in 1966. This was indeed the highlight of my historical tour. I could never express my deep emotion when I was privileged to step into that room, the cradle of our heritage.
Please let me tell again how much I enjoyed your and Mrs. Ramjan's visit here and the extremely kind gifts you presented to the museum.
Sister Frances Salacia wasn't content to simply follow the science. She helped shape it. Her meticulous attention to technique and her commitment to patient safety earned her respect far beyond her department walls. Sometimes the clearest picture comes from the voices of those who were there. Sister was different than many others in her position as director of a school because she insisted we have class when it was scheduled. That meant patients and doctors would have to be served by the paid staff during those hours. There was an occasional but rare day when she would dismiss class in order to accommodate the work. Sister's primary objectives for her students included providing excellent patient care, using radiation safely, and producing a quality image. These same objectives provide the basis for training anyone who may operate X-ray equipment. She taught patient care by example. It was caught from her rather than taught. Any patient lying on a cart in the corridor while waiting his or her turn in the X-ray room would get her attention. She would tuck the blanket around the toes, or double the pillow so the head wasn't in a negative incline, or speak to them with assurance regarding the exam that would soon be beginning. Throughout the years, Sister corresponded with Dr. Coolidge and became quite good friends with him. I liked your history booklet plan, as I think that with as many slides as you want to put in, it will be used more than would a larger book. I have just reread and with interest and pleasure your pages 12 through 18. I think it would be well to explain the essential difference between the gas tube and the Coolidge tube. The latter, instead of gas, has a very high vacuum. To control its conductivity, the cathode of the Coolidge tube is a tungsten wire spiral, electrically heated. On page 15, fifth line from top, say developed instead of invented. Sincerely, W.D. Coolidge. In Kansas, she helped light the first spark of professional unity. Sister Frances was a founding force behind the Kansas State Society of Radiologic Technologists, giving technologists a voice, a community, and a place to grow. Her leadership helped shape the Society's early direction, laying the groundwork for education, ethics, and advocacy that still guide the organization today. Later, Nebraska became her mission. Sister Frances poured her time and wisdom into the Nebraska Society of Radiologic Technologists, mentoring new leaders and never missing an opportunity to serve. Her influence reached far beyond state lines. At the national level, Sister Frances was a dedicated member of the American Society of X-ray Technicians, later renaming and becoming the ASRT. She received the honor of Fellow in the American Society of Radiologic Technologists for her dedication and contributions to her profession in 1963. Former student Connie Lyon wrote, "She pursued her own knowledge of the subject by attending state and national meetings, and she would always return so excited she just had to present everything she learned to those in her school and her department." Sister Frances was not only a practitioner and a teacher, as well as a lifelong learner, but she was a storyteller of science. Through countless presentations, she shared her knowledge with humility and clarity. Her written voice echoed across the pages of the X-ray Technician Journal and later Radiologic Technology Journal. Her words carried the weight of experience and the spark of inspiration. Sister Frances passed away on September 27, 1988 from intestinal metastatic cancer while living in the convent of her order in Colorado Springs, Colorado. Why do we strive to maintain the legacy of a woman most of us have never met? Because Sister Frances didn't just study radiology, she lived it, she cherished it, and in doing so, she helped ensure that we would never forget where we came from. This is her story, and now it's part of ours.